Oh, there it is. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Let's get started at our meeting. Welcome to the Cambridge Community Board March meeting. It's nice to see you all. We always start our meetings off with a karakia, which I then translate into English. So I'll start with that. Kia ora ti marino. Kia whakapapa punamo ti moana. Hei huarahi mā tātou I te rangi nei. Aroha atu, aroha mai. Tātou ia tātou katoa. Hui e tākie. May peace be widespread. May the sea be like greenstone, a pathway for us all this day. Let us show respect for each other, for one another, bind us all together. Right. And we just move through now to our apologies. We don't have any apologies, but we do have Andrew, who is online there, who is going to have an early departure around seven-ish. So he'll be here with us for the first hour and then he will head off. Disclosure of any members' interests with our agenda. Anything on that agenda that anyone needed to flag? No, that's good. Okay, then we move to the public forum, and I just want to welcome Kerry Church, who's here to talk to us, and last name, Meredith Osmond. Sorry, Meredith, I was just double checking that last name, who are here to speak to us about the Public Arts Trust. While they pop up, I just wanted to introduce the rest of you to the Cambridge Community Board. So for the Cambridge Ward, we have Sue Milner, Alana Mackay, Elise Badger, and myself, Jo Davies-Colley. And then we have Andrew Myers, who is our Community Board Mangatotari representative, who's online. And then we have two councillors that sit on our board, Philip Coles and Mike Montgomery, who is the rural councillor. And then we have council staff here who support us, Kirsty and the governance team as well. So welcome to you all. Kerry, just make sure that button's pushed. Thank you.
Thank you, Jo. Thank you, community board members. Thank you, council staff. Meredith and I are here to give you the first of a briefing about an exciting project that we've been working on for 8 months now. I just counted on my fingers, to launch a Cambridge Public Arts Trust. We feel that it's the right time to do this, given the pressures on finances with council and the dictates from the government that you need to stick to your knitting. And we know that in all the documents that the council wants to have public art, but we know that there's no money. So the goal behind the Cambridge Public Arts Trust is to raise public funding for 3 purposes. The first one is to get public art for public spaces, which is how we interact with the council, public art for private spaces on private land, on private walls, sculptures outside private properties. And the third part brings it all together, having the Cambridge Public Art Trail, where we are developing a trail for people to walk or run, cycle or drive around all of the public art around the Cambridge area. Our goal is for every piece of art to have a QR code so that people can click on the QR code and find out about the art. We've been working really closely with Sally Sheedy and her team to get information about the existing public art. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of information, but we'll put whatever we can up there. When it's ready to go, of course, we'll work with the Eyesight and with Bicycle Revolution and other people to make sure that everybody can access this trail. We're working closely with Tiawa Cycleway and the public art that they're putting in the Cambridge Public Art Precinct, and they have the same concept of putting QR codes up. So where we're up to so far, we've done 8 months of extensive research, talking to other organisations throughout New Zealand. We've looked through the charities registered and discovered that Sue set up a sculpture trust a while ago, which unfortunately has been deregistered, but it shows that there's a passion in the community to do that kind of thing. So we're up to the stage of having a trustee that is registered. We have a number of sponsors doing pro bono work. Our patrons are Richard and Jan Seabrook. Our trustees so far are myself, Meredith, Andrew Newman and Jocelyn Cooney. And we're in the process of talking to 2 other people to finish that off. That's basically all I was going to say at the moment, but we will come and update you briefly every month, and our launch is in August.
Okay, so lovely to be here with you all this evening. I spent 40 years in Wellington and absolutely loved and adored the Wellington Sculpture Trust and everything that it did there. And so I'm 4 years back in Cambridge, where I was born and raised. And when Kerry approached me, I thought, yeah, let's do this. This would be really fantastic. Now, what they did in Wellington, what they do in Hamilton won't be right for what we do in Cambridge, because we need to get the Cambridge feel to what we do. And if we think about what Cambridge stands for, you know, we have the home of champions, don't we? We have sports, we have cycling, rowing, we have our river, our wonderful river. We have our green belts, trees and green spaces. We have land management, agriculture, farming. You know, we service a wide rural community. We're about traditions, arts and crafts and creativity. We've got history, Māori history as well, and lots of stories to tell. And we also have a community that has a lot of older people at one end, and we have a lot of hopefully younger families coming in here, and we want to tell stories about generations coming together. So what we're looking at is trying to do more to tell the stories of Cambridge people. And of course, we've seen in all the documents, we've truly been reading them for Africa. ChatGPT has been helping us to get access to all the documents that council produces. And we have seen over and over again that council talks about art and art adding value to the experience of living and working and visiting Cambridge. So a final couple of comments then is we can only do this in partnership. So we're not going to be working as an elite group. We're going to be working obviously with council, with its public art strategy and commitments made in plans, etc. It's our intention to support council to achieve its goals, and in these tightened circumstances, you know, us raising funds to put this work out there could well be of added value. Thinking about partnering with landowners who will donate space for walls, that's as Kerry said, identifying funders, working with funders, having a membership group we will carry along with us with all of this, and artists, giving artists opportunity, and of course our community. So we see ourselves working with and for the community of Cambridge. So thank you.
I'll just add one more quick thing. Something that we've realised is that we are 4 very enthusiastic people, and we've talked to lots of other enthusiastic people. Everybody bar one person that I've spoken to is really enthusiastic about the idea. But we only know the people that we know. And we'd really appreciate any ideas of people we should be talking to, whether we should be talking to artists, whether we should be talking to other people who are enthusiastic about this. We only know who we know. So we really want people to become ambassadors and to help us to make this a whole community thing.
Great. Thank you. It's very exciting. Right. Questions for these ladies? Comments? Encouragement? Sounds great. Yes. Yeah. Lisa, any thoughts?
Thank you for your hard work on this. It's always wonderful when people of the community decide to champion something that will support others in the community. I just commend you for doing that, and also for your connections with other groups like Bicycle Revolution to create that cycle trail. That's really well done. So I wish you all the best on your endeavours. You have a lot of energy and enthusiasm. I'm sure you'll do a great job. Well done.
Thanks, Elise. Thanks.
Yeah, welcome to tonight. I'm like the others, don't really have any questions, but it's really exciting, and there's a couple of great pieces down the cycle track now, which has just come in recently. So it looks really great, and it's a beautiful town with our green belts and everything. So it's just going to lend itself so nicely. So really supportive of it and see what we can do to help you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Thanks. Great.
No, that's amazing. We're really looking forward to hearing further updates as you go through the process. I know the council staff are really excited as well, and they're very keen to work with you and make it all work. So it's going to be great. So thank you very much for coming, and yeah, come back and tell us more. Please do. Please do. Yes. Okay. Just keep in touch. We will. Okay. Thank you both. Thank you. Right. Myth and Simon Perry and Myth McDiamond, welcome. They're going to update us on the Sports Hall of Fame. Nice to see you both. Welcome. Yeah, it's so great. Going to be good. Oh, awesome. Yes. Yeah. Simon, sorry, just push that button. I just want to make sure everyone at home can hear you. Yes, perfect.
Okay, so you probably all know Myth McDermott, who's General Manager of the Home of Cycling Trust, and of course has had other roles here in the community. So we're just going to go through, I'll do the first bit, which is a bit of a review of the last 10 years. We thought it was high time we gave the community board an update on the velodrome and where we've been and where we're going before we talk to council in full in the long-term district plan review. So a decade in review, if someone was clicking through this, basically we're pretty proud to now be the #1 visitor attraction in the district. We count everyone that goes through the front doors, and we just hit the 200,000 mark.
Wow.
And we've looked at the various venues across the district, and the aquatic centres and Te Arawai, which was obviously a proposed museum, the libraries, etc. And the aquatic centres, doing great. I'm a visitor. I was there today and know the people by name. Penny on the door and various others, or Jenny, sorry. We swim 3 times a week, and that's now going very well. But the velodrome tops the list according to the visitor stats and all the numbers we've got. In terms of economic impact over the decade, we've had 3 World Cups. We're now a satellite centre. We've run hundreds of events. We, of course, support the Home of Champions branding, and we get a lot of tourists and about 120 staff on site. So quite a big economic impact. Looking at economic impact, we did a study at the very beginning when Regional Council needed an impact report before they would support the project. There's about an $11.5 million annual impact. In today's dollars, that's about $15 million coming into mainly the Waipa community through employment and through the events that go on in the velodrome. In terms of popularity, we've increased by nearly 1,000 memberships in the last year. Gyms across the gym, the Trikes program, and cycling. Some really big increases, and I know Myth's got some pretty lofty aspirations to build those numbers again this year. In terms of a draw card, we get a lot of media, as you've probably seen over the years, and that also attracts people to the district, and the Home of Champions obviously tying in very well with that. We've compared it also in terms of the ratepayer with other district-owned assets. We're in the middle there. The whole building and so forth cost about $30 million back in 2012. We had $1 million contribution from Waipa, and the rest came from outside of the district, regional trusts, and of course Sport New Zealand. So the cost per ratepayer for the velodrome is zero, basically, in terms of visitation. You compare that to, say, the aquatic centre there, a $24 million project, probably around $20 million from effectively from Waipa, the ratepayers, and it costs about 1.3 annually. So the cost per visit is around $9. That's the unrecovered cost. We all go in and pay our $8 each time we visit. So that's the leftover that the ratepayer has to bear. So when you compare that, and then of course the Te Arawai is a proposed project of $17 million of investment from the ratepayers, and a cost of $2.5 million per annum. So a $32 per ratepayer per visit. So, you know, we're quite pleased with the fact that we haven't really come to the district over the decade and asked for a cent, and we've been able to run it, I guess, based on the back of visitors and rents and sponsors and so on. In terms of comparing that with the other costs in the district, I think there is a small rates subsidy of about $8,000 a year that the velodrome picks up, and you compare that to $8 million that goes into reserves, etc. So that's a bit of a summary. We're pretty proud of the fact that we haven't sort of lent on the ratepayers or the district over the past decade. Just going forward, we are looking now to rebrand. We've got a resource consent to take up to 4,000 visitors into the velodrome, and we want to rebrand it as an arena, which really speaks to a wider use, a wider catchment, a wider, we're talking music, we're talking concerts, we're talking other sports, really making the most of what is now a $70 million asset. So a hub for events, and as I say, we have our resource consent for that. And of course, we are also looking at the Sports Hall of Fame. So I'll hand it over to Miff, who can talk a little bit about what's next over the next 12 months.
Okay, so I think I've been here a couple of years ago with Alan Livingston presenting on the Sports Hall of Fame. So I wanted to give you an update of where we're at the moment and our latest plans. So we remain committed to relaunching the Sports Hall of Fame, which is currently based in Dunedin. So we remain committed to bringing it up to Cambridge and making it a feature for our locals and our visitors here at the velodrome. So it will be boldly reimagined. We can, sorry, the next one. So it'll not just be a singular experience. Currently down in Dunedin, it is a collection of artifacts with some stories accompanying it. So it'll be boldly reimagined to a digital experience and artifact experience within velodrome, and it will inspire particularly that next generation on journeys of health and wellbeing. The Homocycling Charitable Trust Board has recently agreed that pursuing a new build outside of our current footprint is uneconomical in the environment. We were looking at around 8 million for the build alone and then the exhibition on top of that. So we've agreed that to achieve bringing it up to the velodrome and giving it a new lease of life, it'll be better achieved by bringing it into our already amazing structure, already impressive buildings. So bringing it into the velodrome.
That would about half the project cost. So quite significant.
So next slide. Within the building, if you can imagine use of the concourse that we have in and around the top level, level 2, we will be putting in digital screens around that space. We will be having artifacts and displays and immersive experiences around that concourse at the moment. And we will be aiming at youth in a large way, so quite hands-on, quite immersive. Using design-led principles, we will use the existing space and expand some areas. So if you imagine walking into a redesigned reception area, then you'll make your way up to the second floor. As you're going up, you'll see artifacts and stories through that stairwell, LED screen above you. As you come up to that top floor, you'll be welcomed into the Sports Hall of Fame, and you'll start your journey off the left-hand side. The APR room is currently a long, skinny boardroom. It'll be repurposed to a space a bit more like this, which is for the classroom and films and video. Okay. Another exciting aspect to it is that we will utilise our inner field space. So we already have a go experience around the velodrome, that's from age 10 upwards. But part of the Sports Hall of Fame, we'll be bringing some more have a go experiences into our infield. So there'll be areas set up where you can have a go at rowing and row against your competitors, or kick a football through a post, drive a sports car, that kind of thing. So that'll be quite hands-on for school groups, and it will hopefully build into their STEM learning, so their science and maths and materials tech will build into that learning experience for those children, and hopefully give them a taste of different sports they might want to try. So if you can imagine sitting in the top level as you come up and you sit in the first row of seats, behind you will actually be an LED screen that will be able to showcase videos, maybe even movies, Tour de France or All Blacks going right in here. Well, in the middle you've got cycling happening and boxing happening and kinds of things. So pretty powerful digital display that will go a good way around the spaces on that top concourse. There's another image here showing those different screens across the concourse as well.
Of course, that could be programmed for events as well as the Hall of Fame. So if you imagine a concert or you know, a boxing or whatever it might be, that can all be on the screens.
And last aspect. And of course, we'll be celebrating our sporting heroes and having a lasting impact on our legacies. There's about 150 people currently in the Sports Hall of Fame, but there's a bit of a gap induction, so it's bringing up to speed and celebrating a lot of achievements that have gone over the last 5 to 10 years.
A lot of them Cambridge, of course.
And that's it. Would you like to take questions? We have some questions for us.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Simon. Questions, these guys, or comments?
Sounds really exciting. You obviously presented this a number of years ago, and so it's really cool to see the evolution of the concept and where it's landed now. And obviously, there's a nice synergy with the arena concept. So yeah, sounds really exciting. How do some of those interactive elements work around the concourse when you do have events, arena style events? How do you sort of lock those down, or just when there's something public running and you don't want the public to interact with that?
It'll actually be ticketed from the base up.
Mhm.
So once you get a ticket, you can actually go around those areas. They are designed to be like you could be going into a museum space, so designed to be pretty robust.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've been to the Cambridge Stud, something they've been to the Cambridge Stud. If they're using the same museum architect as what they have there, and it's pretty impressive.
And then a lot of the interactives would take place in the inner field down the bottom as
okay.
well. So you've got some upstairs, more touchscreen, more light interactive, and then the real have a goes are another, I guess, extension to the tour. So that you can do both. But obviously, when we have a big event up to 4,000, the Hall of Fame would be closed for the during those big events.
Yeah, and all those things can be shifted out of the way, and
They can be
portable.
they'll be portable. That's right.
Cool.
Or on the wall, and that they can be looked at, but they won't get in the way of a large crowd.
Fabulous. Great. Thank you. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome here tonight. It's great to see you both, and congratulations on all the activities and things that you do for our district and our community. So thank you for that. With the current site down in Dunedin, what's the time frame that it needs? Is there a cut-off time when that has to move from there?
There's
Or?
no deadline date, but they're hanging in there.
Yeah.
They're kind of waiting for us to get our. We've now just completed a PD for a curatorial role, who will basically be in charge of bringing that whole exhibit up and then sorting through it, digitizing it all, and then we're going to display a subset of those articles or artifacts. We're not going to put them all up. And of course, we need room for new ones. We need room for the last 5 years of athletes and inductees with some of their memorabilia. So it'll be a combination of, we really want to be more digital and more, if you look at the millennials and the Gen X, Gen Betas, Alphas, they all get their content digitally, and that is often a gateway to taking on the physical sport. So the whole idea is to capture it all digitally, the stories, the LED screens, and some physical artifacts, and then give them a chance to have a go at some sports, and then hopefully take it up in their club. Sport Waikato have committed 500,000. That's in our bank account. Is that correct? So they're a big partner in this project in terms of activating the kids.
So your new idea for housing it up here, it's going to be about 4 million, is it? I think you said eight for
the total project now is around 6 to 6.5 million,
right,
which is primarily the exhibit, but we're adding 50 car parks. We're doing a little bit more on the outside of the building. We're hoping to get an LED out to the roundabout, so some signage and some upgrading of the velodrome. So it's really putting out all our money into the existing building and the exhibit, rather than adding something on. We still have a consent though to be able to add something later.
good luck, and it's exciting. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I think as Cambridge grows and evolves, something like this is a pretty good fit. So we're really looking forward to seeing how it progresses, and please come back to us again and keep updating us. And yeah, it's great. Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good evening. No worries. See you later. Cherie Weinberg, welcome. Nice to see you. Can see that microphone's on, so you're good to go. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you to the community board and to the councillors for letting us give you an update on what's been happening with fluoridation, both in New Zealand and around the world. So we've just got a quick update of things that are happening, and we've also got a few inserts that have come out of what the Rotorua District Council have sent to the Ministry of Health. So in August 2024, National Toxicology Program Fluoride Neurotoxicity report was finalised, and that actually went towards, the judge had actually put her ruling on hold until she saw that. So once that came through, the federal court decision was that fluoridation at 0.7 ppm is an unreasonable risk. So that came through on September 2024. In October 2024, the Cochrane collaboration published, there were slight benefits, but it may be zero benefit to have fluoridation in the water. The National Toxicology Program authors published additional research papers in the Journal of the American Medical Association Pediatrics on the 6th of January 2025. In February 2025, we were lucky to have Michael Connett visit Cambridge, and the chair of the Cambridge Community Board and 2 members attend, and it's now very obvious that fluoride is a neurotoxin. I understand that everyone was emailed the link to watch the presentation, and I hope you all took the opportunity to do so. I know it was long, but it was full of really relevant information. New Zealand First and Winston Peters accepted the fluoride-free New Zealand petition with Michael Connett in attendance. So yesterday, there was a court case down in Wellington. Whangarei District Council were seeking legal action. The judge has said that the ruling will come out before the 28th of March, which is when Whangarei City Council was meant to commence with fluoridation. So that ruling should be there before then. Rotorua District Council have sent a letter that Fluoride Free New Zealand is very proud of. They've sent that to the Ministry of Health. They also received presentation from the Ministry of Health's representatives and asked questions. The rebuttal against the Ministry of Health question and answer is coming soon. Just in relation to the letter that the Rotorua District Council sent, I'd just like to read a few items off that. So first, from page 2 of the letter, number 3 talks about dose concerns. What is a safe dose of fluoride? We are not treating water, we are treating people. There are multiple sources of fluoride in people's lives in addition to water. There is no absolute control on the total maximum fluoride dose per individual. Additionally, each person has a unique age, gender, medical and nutritional profile that will influence how they respond to the stresses of fluoride. Page 9 of the appendix, point B, medical and nutritional status of each individual will affect the level of fluoride. Those with medical conditions do not excrete fluoride at the same rate, so accumulate more in their bodies and are more exposed to risk. These include kidney conditions, thyroid issues, those with low calcium or iodine levels, which a lot of people probably aren't even aware of, nutritional status. Those with poor diet are more at risk. This may expose many in lower socioeconomic communities to higher risk of negative effects. Point C, timing. The age and body weight of each individual will influence exposure to fluoride. Early life exposure in the womb and infancy before 6 months of age is the most damaging, as the blood-brain barrier is not fully formed at this age, and fluoride can directly enter the brain tissue and disrupt development. On page 10 of the appendix, number 4, there are safer, targeted, alternative, preventative options. Before I read from the Rotorua appendix, I just want to clarify what precautionary principle is. The precautionary principle is an approach to risk management where, if it is possible that a given policy or action might cause harm to the public or the environment, and if there is still no scientific agreement on the issue, the policy or action in question should not be carried out. So in determining the precautionary principle, questions are asked. Number 1, is the risk of harm possible? Yes, reduction of IQ of children. 2, Is the evidence of harm supported by a number of peer-reviewed published studies? I know that we've presented a lot of those to you already, but the latest systemic review from the NTP, which is high-level government organisation in America, in August 2024, federal court case JAMA Pediatricians, January 2025. So those are all just what was in the submission. Number 3, is the potential harm serious? Yes, in particular neurotoxicity to children at a level that is unreasonably close to dosing rate and water supply. See federal court case findings. Factor of 10 should be used to assess risk of harm. So that's 10, a deviation of 10 points. Are their effects, the effects reversible? Many are not, particularly in unborn children and bottle-fed babies where blood-brain barrier is not fully formed. 5, is the public being fully informed of the potential health risks? That's questionable. 6, does the proposed intervention achieve the desired benefit? That's questionable as well. Topical application of fluoride is the most effective way to deliver benefits. Number 7, how significant are the consequences in if the practice is halted? The Cochrane report cannot demonstrate that there will be any such effect. 8, are there alternatives? Yes, targeted toothbrushing programs, health and dental education, and reduction in sugary foods. These options include toothbrushing programs in schools, such as the Child Smile program in Scotland, which has been very successful in lowering cavities in children's teeth. So back to that update page, the Florida Surgeon General calls the promotion of fluoridation public health malpractice. They've been lobbying local Florida I knew I'd struggle with that one. Municipalities to stop fluoridation, and a number have voted to stop it. The state of Utah is about to ban fluoridation. The bill has passed the Senate and it will and is with the governor to sign. He has stated that he will be signing the bill. The Cambridge community are requesting that the Cambridge Community Board call for a public inquiry and for Waipa District Council to advocate that Cambridge not be fluoridated. Clearly, there are options that the council can take by following Wongarei and Rotorua's example. Thank you.
Thanks, Cherie. Oh, you did well. Thank you. Are there any questions for Cherie? Comments? No. I think we've normally been dealing with Bren Farrell. She's been our kind of key contact with this, and she has visited us a few times, as some of the other supporters have. And I think the community board has really recognised that there are a section of our community who are really concerned about the potential fluoridation of the town water supply. And because of that, when we realised the extent of that concern, we made sure that we, wrote an open letter to the mayor and to all the Waipa district councillors and really, communicated that to them. And then that letter I made sure was printed in the Cambridge News in its entirety. And if you would like to, I'm very happy to write to the mayor again with these updates and communicate your position to her. I mean, that's what a community board does, we're the voice, we're the voice between the community and council. So that is something that we can do just to make sure they're aware of your position.
I think it's not just our position, but we have to be very clear about the evidence coming out now. This court case in America, it's massive. Like they were looking at 1.5 ppm to be added to the water, and with a 10-point basis that, yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's really important that we understand what the liability if people are caused harm will be. Like the government are now proposing that they fine people in Wongarei personally. Well, does that go both ways? Do people get fined personally if harm is caused? I mean, it's just something that we have to consider, and it's not fluoride. It's a byproduct. So yeah, I think it's important that you communicate that to the council and the mayor, and that I would at least hope that she's watched this video.
Oh yes,
Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what we'll,
Just going to help with questions, but
yeah, sure.
I think before you rewrite to the council, if you can, there's a lot happening just now.
Yeah.
So if you can just give us a few days to
Sure.
get
Sure.
this
Yeah.
list updated and
Yeah.
polished. that would
Keep
be
in touch with me.
wonderful.
Bring me any information you'd like me
Yeah.
to include in that letter and I can do that.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Great.
Just a question.
Can you come to the, could you come to the microphone? Because we do want to make sure that you're heard at home as well.
My question is, who has the right to medicate other people's bodies against their will?
Thank you.
That's the question.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
and
you
I
very
know
much.
there's a lot of deferral that councils are saying you really need to take this up with the Ministry of Health. Well, that Rotorua letter was written to Simeon Brown.
Mm,
His answer was, you need to go to the Director General of Health. So why does one person have so much power over this issue? It's just crazy. Like the Minister of Health won't even step in and ask the right questions.
yeah.
So it has to come back to, if small people aren't getting listened to, let's go the next step up and try and get the councils in so that people will start getting listened to and the research will start getting looked at. I know in the recent court case, they keep going back to the broadbent study done in New Zealand. That was deemed such low class because there was such a high risk of bias that it wasn't even included in the National Toxicology Program's review, and that they only let 19 studies be included and they were top quality. Broadbent was not even looked at. It's mentioned in many places of why it wasn't included. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Right.
to rely on that and say there's nothing new is just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming. We have heard you and any new info. Yeah, I'm very happy to have a look at that and pass that on to the
Great.
mayor and councillors. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get that.
Thank you.
for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did anyone else want to speak while they were here? Otherwise, we will move on to the rest of our meeting. Okay. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. I think we carry on. Or do you want to adjourn? Let's just adjourn for 5 minutes, folks, and we will just get ourselves organized here and we'll be right back. Right, welcome back. Thank you for just bearing with us for a moment. Right, we're just going to move through to the confirmation of minutes of the previous meeting held on the 19th of February 2025, as circulated with the agenda as a true and correct record of proceedings. I'm happy to move that. Alana will second. All in favour? Please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Carried. Right, Kirsty, welcome. Kirsty's just here to give us a brief LTP update. Thank you.
Koutou katoa. Through the chair, I'd like to respectfully request that the report be taken as read and just provide an update. Audit commenced their process on the 4th of February. That remains ongoing. It hasn't yet concluded. That has therefore impacted on some of our timeframes. So we're not in a position to commence public consultation on their draft long-term plan is at the 21st of March, as we had hoped, but we will be working through our program to confirm timeframes, and we'll communicate that through to you.
Thank you, Kirsty. These updates are really valuable. It sounds like there's a lot of moving pieces happening, so we'll look forward to our next update, and thank you very much for that. That's great. Are you going to stay for the 6-month report and stay in the chair? And I'll welcome. Yes, you shall be. Oh, we need to move that. Right, I'll just receive, it's actually Daisy's report. Can you move that? Yes, yeah, Elisa's going to move that and I'll second that. All in favour? Yeah. Sorry, everyone. Right, 6-month group report. So Sally and Dawn, welcome. Nice to see you. And Kirsty.
Kia ora koutou. Happy to take our report as read, but really welcome any questions. So particularly for myself around the waters and transport components, and Sally Shetty here for her components, who is hoping to provide a bit of an update.
Ngā mihi o te pō katoa. So I just wanted to pass on Brad's apologies for not being able to be here with you tonight. And there are just a couple of updates within the information he's provided that I would like to provide on his behalf. So there is a request for tenders to construct the new car park at Leamington Cemetery has closed. The program schedules from all tenderers indicate completion of project by the end of June. As part of this project and after the car park's been done, there will be an automatic gate installed at the cemetery. So that is part of those project works as well. The automatic gate identified for Hautapu Cemetery is anticipated to be completed by the 3rd week of April. And so I know that there's been conversations within the community around gates being opened and or not closed on time. Both of these projects will ensure that these special places for our community remain protected after hours and will reduce that reliance on our security contractors to monitor and lock those areas. Also just wanted to update you that the procurement for the Halley's Lane toilet renewal has now been completed, and the successful contractors program has the toilets completed by the end of June as well. So just in terms of staff will be working with the neighbouring businesses and affected parties ahead of the construction period, because we know that these works will have an impact in terms of some disruption there. And the temporary toilets will be loaded on site to cater for the public's needs during that time, so that we ensure that we're still providing a service for our community there. The methodology of building the facility off-site and then locating on-site to allows us to reduce any of that disruption to a minimum as best we can. So we also identified that works will pause during the field days when they're in town, so that we also taking that into consideration. So yeah, so that's the update that I was to provide you, and I will do my best to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions on Sally's content there?
Just on the Leamington Cemetery car park, can you just give me a bit of a better idea of where that would be going? What we can do is provide a plan, so we
cool.
can
Yeah.
send that through to you.
That'd be
I
great,
think that
thank
will
you.
most probably be better than me trying to describe it.
Lovely.
But yeah, I'll provide a plan and that will also show where the gate's going in as well.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. One question first. In terms of the toilet renewal in the CBD, and this is just a interest sake question, does council have to provide a certain number of public toilets within a CBD? Because there's sort of like some minimum requirements for public toilets.
So we do look at locations of where our toilets are in terms of use of level of service from that perspective. I know that there is the Halley's Lane toilet is very well utilised because I think we know that this asset is at the end of its life and very much we receive a lot of questions around maintenance requirements and blockages and those sort of things. So from that perspective, but we do really consider where our public toilets are for the use that they get and also consider whether or not they're still viable or not, but these are definitely them. I'm not sure if we have like a per head of population, that sort of view. I don't think we do that, but it is very much based on the view that the team look at of what's utilised and what isn't, and those key SIP-tied in terms of vandalism and those sort of things as well.
Sorry, and I know it's not included in this key projects, but I'm sorry if I've missed an update on this, but just wondering how the Leamington playground is tracking.
So I think in terms of the last report, there was an update on the Leamington playground that was provided. So you'll note that it's in train. There is earthworks happening on site. There's things happening. My understanding is still on track and that the roller was successfully relocated. So it's in its new place. Yeah. So in terms of, I think we were looking at that May date, I haven't heard anything different from that perspective.
It's tracking as expected. No major delays at this point. Cool. Very good.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your report. Yeah, I mean, the roller was a big thing a few years ago. Mike will remember that too when we were on the community board together. It was huge. But yeah, just on the loos, I think you said at the end of June it would be finished. It was 2 or 3 months, wasn't it? And it's really great move, building them off site and then bringing them in. So that's really smart. Well done.
Thank you.
So when do they start? How long's the project? Sorry.
The tender process has been completed and we would have awarded the contract. So the works will already be either very close to starting or has been awarded. So the timeframe that we've got from the contractor is obviously completion at the 30th of June. I'm not sure when the site works will start because stuff is happening off-site first, but I can get that update to you as well.
So the current ones will be available to use for a bit longer yet, but there'll be some temporary ones come in.
So as soon as we turn the site into a construction site, that's when temporary toilets will go on. So the provision of public facilities will still be on site.
Sue.
Owen and I are particularly pleased about the tractor because we fought long and hard to keep it. So we are really thrilled.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
So any other questions? No. Oh, just Sally, I think. Yeah, great. Thank you, Sally. That's awesome. Thank you. Dawn, welcome.
Unfortunately, I have no further updates to what's been provided in the
Okay.
report, but certainly an apology from Brian that he's not here to present that information to you. But yeah, more than happy to answer any questions arising from the information provided.
Great. Elise, thank you.
Thanks, Dawn. The Cambridge parking trial. What does it cost to do a trial like this? What is this project going to cost?
I could look to Rachel behind me, but it's relatively low cost in terms of replacement of the signs. So a matter of maybe a few $1,000s in terms of the number of signs that get replaced. But then even so, we try and utilise the existing sign and just use labels and that sort of thing to minimise costs. So it's relatively modest.
My other question was, sorry, and I don't have the plans of the roundabout in front of me to know exactly how that's all going to flow, but are there going to be any speed bumps in that new roundabout when it's all completed and done? Any more of those? Are they called speed bumps? I don't know what they're called. The
Raised
raised traffic platforms. I need to be a proper word for it. Are there any more of those planned through that last little section up to the roundabout and exiting it?
I believe there are, but we can get a plan to you and
Great.
show.
Be awesome if they were not the same as the ones that are there currently, the same angle and sharpness.
We're certainly hearing from the community around that feedback.
Fabulous.
And one of the things that we've been able to sort of, I guess, monitor as the most recent ones that have been constructed in All Hope with respect to State Highway 3, and that they're achieving the right outcome in terms of moderating speed, but creating much more of a visual sort of impact in terms of to achieve that outcome. So it's one of those things when we're operating in a brownfields environment and trying to marry into sort of what's there at the moment, and we don't always get it right. But certainly a commitment has been made to Councillor Pettit that we will do further work in terms of looking at the current platforms and see what other modifications we can do.
Is that the replacement ones you're referring to in All Hope, or the new ones that came through? So they're less abrupt, but still affecting the traffic.
Still achieving the outcome.
Yeah, this really lovely one going into Hamilton through
on
Glenview,
Drive.
And it's just like, you're like, oh, slow down. You're like, oh, didn't even feel it. It was great. So like slows you down, but it's very comfortable. I was like, well, more of these in Cambridge. So just thought I'd share that opinion around the upcoming work. It was a very good speed bump. Yeah, it was great.
Thanks, Elise. Any other questions for Dawn? No, okay. Thank you, Dawn. That's great. Kirsty.
Thank you. So just as per the previous item, audit process remains underway. Therefore, we are still working on the timeframe for public consultation and hearings, deliberations. With regard to Ahuaki Waipa Community Spatial Plan, that is proceeding to a council meeting next Wednesday, the 26th of March, whereby we'll be seeking a recommendation from council or a decision from council to approve for adoption of that document. Just a couple of other items that aren't reflected in the report. We have been working on an economic wellbeing strategy that was recently workshopped with elected members, and we will be looking at bringing that to the Strategic Planning Policy Committee meeting on the 1st of April to seek approval to commence informal feedback engagement. And work is underway with the Sustainability and Climate Change Subcommittee shaping up a draft climate change strategy. So we'll be looking to engage with the community board in respect of that at a future point in time also.
Great.
Happy to respond to any questions.
Thank you. No, I think that's great. Thank you, Kirsty. Thank you. Right, let's just receive Joe's report, that 6 monthly community board reporting. I'm happy to move that. Could I have a seconder, please? Alana, thank you. All in favour? Thank you. Received. Right. Rachel, welcome. So this is about our where am I? Oh yes, the Cambridge parking trial. Thank you. And then we'll hear from Rachel again about 4th Street.
Kia ora koutou. It's all things parking tonight from us. So you may have seen some new P90 signs that just went up this week in main streets in Cambridge Town Centre, and that's in response to a request from the Chamber of Commerce to trial to look at extending the current P60s to P90 minutes to allow shoppers and visitors into the town centre to have more time. The council, following the request, decided that we would trial the request and see over a period of time how that would go. So the trial is going from March to August this year. If people want to have your say on those parking changes, they can use the email address that's provided in the report and just take it as the report is read and ask any questions.
Thank you. Any comments, Sue? I'll just put your mic on. Thank you. Yep.
I just wondered, okay, so we're doing it at what is a relatively lower time of year than perhaps later in the year. Is there any consideration to looking at it again, say closer to that busier period in the year, just to see what happened then?
Yeah, I mean, we'll certainly be reviewing it as we go, you know, and getting feedback in
Yeah.
busy times throughout the year and at the end of the year as well. So, so it is a trial. So if these are not working, then we can always put them back to how they were, or change them, or adapt them.
Or do another trial.
Yeah,
Another
we'll do
time of
another trial at a different time of year. So, yeah. Philip.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Rachel. Thanks for your report. How did the TA Mutu review go? Was it too early for results or decision? Well, yeah, results.
Yeah, the community. For the community board members, the Te Aomutu Chamber of Commerce and others requested an extension to P120 for their main streets. And yeah, so far we've had good positive feedback about those changes. So again, we're just trialing those and seeing how they go. But at the moment, there's been positive feedback to those. Yeah.
Lana?
Thanks, Rachel. I was just wondering, is there going to be any other monitoring going on during the trial, or is it purely the have your say feedback?
We'll certainly do our own monitoring as well, in terms of the team, in terms of traffic counts and other things that we can feed back into that. Yeah.
Any further questions? No, that's great. Thank you, Rachel. We'll just receive that report and then move on. So this has just received the transportation planner titled Cambridge Parking Trial. I'm happy to move that. I have someone second. Elise, thank you. And all in favour? Aye, great, Gary, thank you. Right, Fort Street consultation.
Yeah, so again, I just take it as the report being read. We, again, this was a request from emergency services located on Fort Street, have raised the issue with council that exiting out of Fort Street is becoming a problem, or has been a problem for some time, and in terms of the roadside parking. So the council has come up with a plan, and this is an early preliminary plan, basically with line markings to basically formalise the parking, and including the plan proposes formalising approximately 40 on-street car parks and inclusion of some no stopping lines to assist emergency services out of Fort Street. Consultation is underway at the moment with residents and businesses affected by the changes on the street, and that consultation will finish at the end of next Friday. So we just invite any feedback from the community board or questions that you may have.
Thank you. It's a tricky one. Fort Street is just a very busy little street. I mean, 2 emergency service providers, a daycare, a bridge club, the Rebus Men's Group, residents, businesses. It's narrow, traffic thoroughfare. It's literally the street that has it all happening. So I attended that public meeting that we had, and I was really pleased to hear that the majority of residents were really happy with the proposed changes, especially the yellow lines out in front of the home. So that was really good. The Early Learning Centre seemed to be really happy as well. So it was a really good start to the consultation period, and I feel like hopefully a lot of people feed into that process. Because yeah, it's that narrowness in the beginning, and to hear that the ambulance are having to turn left all the time rather than turn right and exit, which must add to their response times. So any questions for Rachel on the plan? Alana?
Thank you. I completely understand the emergency services side of things. But just wondering, the businesses that you're talking to, are they just the ones in the immediate vicinity?
We deem them as affected on Fort Street and across the road from Fort Street as well. That have some people parking in those
Yeah.
areas.
I'm just concerned that a number of people that are parking there are ones that may have parked in other places previously, and I'm concerned that this is going to kick the whole anti-cycling thing off again. So just wondering if there's any way that we can get a little bit more public feedback on it. Do you know what the difference will be in the number of car parks available?
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult to say because they haven't been formalized as such.
Yeah.
So people can park on the side of the road. Yeah, but so we are allocating approximately 40 spaces and our checks at times have meant, you know, at times of the day there's different sort of phases of parking, and the end closest to Victoria Street is sort of more congested than other ends, and then there's sort of peak times when children might be being dropped off at the daycare, there might be a meeting at the bridge club, those sort of things. So yes, there is a bit of a flow of parking, but I mean, I guess this plan, a number of issues were also raised in terms of safety and safety of the street and the speed, and this plan sort of seeks to formalise those car parks that are there in the street.
Yeah. I completely understand the need for it. It's just,
Yeah.
you know, the difficulties that we've had recently.
Yeah.
I guess maybe socializing or re-socializing some of those alternative parking area things around the time might help as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was raised at the meeting, especially from the early learning centre, because they have parents drop off either at the front or at the back, and how they could kind of get their parents to do different things. So there was a lot of that discussion had, which was really good. Elise, and then I'll come to you, Finn.
Thank you. It was a very quick question. These will not be time restricted parks, is that?
No time parking restrictions, just formalising with painted lines the car parking spaces on the street.
Yeah, and I would back Alana's concerns around removing more CBD all day parks that I don't know they weren't formalised, so it's hard to assess how much we're losing, but I would back that concern around how that's best managed and continue to cater to people who need to drive into town and can't take alternative transport options like a push bike. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, the Victoria end of Fort Street's a lot narrower, I think, than the Duke Street end, isn't it? I think really it's the real issue. But is the congestion just 5 days a week, the parking issue, or is it 6 days, you know, Saturday as well with activity at the Bridge Club, or Sundays as well? Is it 7 days a week, or is it just the 5 days, business days?
I mean, I guess as I just mentioned before, I guess sort of peaks in traffic demand or parking demand on the street, with the Bridge Club Thursday evenings, for example, the Early Childhood Centre early mornings and afternoons. So there are sort of some, and then coupled in there, there's some all day parking from people that work in Cambridge as well. So yeah, there are sort of competing users, I suppose, of this space, and obviously the residents as well. So I don't know about weekend demand. I would imagine that would be less.
And I mean, we've got the police station there now. It's been what, there 3 or 4 years or 5 years, perhaps. I don't know. I've forgotten, lost count. But there would be a lot of parking taken up with police cars and well, they're working there as well. So there's staff cars parking there and things like that. So have they got any ideas how they may address the situation?
Yeah, I mean, we are talking to the police. Police attended the meeting last Thursday. The issue was raised, which was good, and we'll certainly look at how we can address those concerns. The police do have their own locked area for marked cars, police marked cars, behind the police station. Yeah, a closed-in area, but we will certainly be working with them to see if we can come up with some solutions there too.
Any further questions for Rachel? Yeah, Mike.
Just a quick one from me. The affected residents, you've been in touch with everyone, the businesses and residents. There's no one being left out.
Sorry, Rachel, just push that again. Sorry.
Yes, all affected residents have been contacted by letter, and also the emergency services team went round last Saturday and all knocked on everybody's door and said, come to the public meeting. So yeah, we think we did.
There was quite a good attendance there. It was really good to see, actually. A lot of those residents come out and yeah.
That's really important, getting in touch with them and trying to talk to them, meet them face to face as well, because we don't want, we've learned from other projects in the past, and we don't want that to happen again. So I think Alana touched on that too. So yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Rachel. That's great. Right, we'll just receive Rachel's report. I'm happy to move that. Oh, actually, no, stop, Joe, stop. Do we want to provide some high-level feedback now on this report, or do we want to not do that and just wait?
How long have we got before
Friday. Isn't it? Yeah. Do you want to? Yeah. Should we provide some thoughts now? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So it would be concerns around the lack of a reduction in all-day parking.
Potential, I guess.
Potential, it's hard to know. Yeah. Yep. Making sure that all the residents, are fully across the plans and the consultation has been adequate.
To that point, does it need to extend?
Just put your mic on.
I know you've talked to the Fort Street residents, Rachel. Have you extended? I mean, there's only a few, I guess, at the top end of Duke and maybe a few down the Victoria Street end. Have you had conversations with those residents? I mean, it may be relevant, but you know how sometimes something's happening in someone's backyard, but they're not aware of it and they feel left out of the communication?
No, we haven't talked to Duke Street residents as such. I guess we're sort of looking at those that are affected by the changes on their street as such, but
Because you can argue that potentially they might also be affected depending on if there's not sufficient parking outside their homes. And so then someone decides to park down Fort Street, or I don't know. I just feel like often we've heard from our community that they feel like they haven't been included in the conversation, and your neighbouring street probably feels like it's part of your patch a little bit. So if there's time, possibly complicating your life, which I don't intend to do, but I just wonder if it's worth extending that, even if it's a FYI, not necessarily the conversation, but an FYI, this is happening and you're back around the corner from you. We'd like you to know, and it makes people feel much more brought along the journey, and it helps with that public conversation going forward.
I would suggest as far around as Plunkett. Is there probably one that could be quite effective if people start using those spaces?
Yeah, 100%. That's a really good point.
I think we could say that we support the initial changes into the street and just those considerations.
Joe. Would like to extend the public consultation to a broader area?
Yes.
Direct communication with the broader area.
Yep.
Yep. And as opposed to just opportunity, as opposed to just opportunity for consultation.
Yes.
Direct communication with a broader area.
Yes. Yep.
Network of affected businesses and residents alike. And considerations around all that.
Yeah, I think that's probably. Yeah, Joe's going to share our screen, so we'll just have a little read of them as we go. Yes, please.
Rachel, just remind me where the decision making for this sits. For formalising parking, is it Brian? Is it council? Is it Dawn? Because the reason for that question, there has been a bit of talk around about where the decision making resides for taking away car parking. I can't remember if we ever formalised it. Remind me.
Thank you, councillor. With respect to the current bylaw, the delegation is to the group manager's service delivery. But in terms of exercising that, I only exercise it where I have there's a demonstration of either an appropriate level of consultation with affected parties, or in some instances, I determined that actually there is such a wider consideration needed that it needs to come to the Service Delivery Committee. And so then it comes to the Service Delivery Committee for consideration. So part of that exercising of the delegation is that determination in terms of whether it's one that is say a no stopping line outside of someone's property, that's a no-brainer, in which case exercise it. But in this instance, I would anticipate we would bring this one to service delivery, given the wider impacts and the level of community interest.
I'm just thinking, do we add that council continues to investigate alternative parking within the CBD? You know, just opening up spaces where possible. Any other considerations that we want to add to that? I think that covers quite a lot.
Do we need to specify that extended network of being
Consultation?
engaged? Yeah.
I don't think we put any limitations on it. I think, yeah, although that would be more helpful to have limitations on it, but
Or
yeah,
maybe not limitations, but just ensuring it goes broad enough.
Yeah.
Or far enough, I guess. What's
Yeah.
helpful, Rachel, as we're just putting together our recommendations, is it helpful if we're like, oh, we'd like it to go to 24 Duke Street or all the way to the roundabout? Or
yeah,
Yeah, no, I think I've got, I think we can work with the communications team and work with them in terms of a wider information going out to those other streets in that area. So that's enough to get us, to
Through the chair. How do you connect with residents? Is it a letter drop? What is the letterbox drop? How would you engage with these next steps? Or
For
next residents? Yeah.
informing a wider
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
I can discuss it with communications team because we obviously do letter drops in various communications in areas. So we can talk that through in terms of reaching those wider networks. Yeah.
Jim Godden has been really good at going door to door and
Yeah.
really connecting with those in his area. So perhaps, you know, we just flag that with him as well. Yeah. Okay. Joe, are you happy to share that? And we'll just have a little read through. Again, Rachel, the cost involved here will not be huge, will it? It's paint and signs.
Yeah,
and
that's right. As Dawn alluded to before, it's line markings, basically, painted lines on roads. Wider things that may be raised, like recessed parking bays, those sort of things. That would be a long-term plan, sort of funding.
Right.
But at the moment, the short-term thing would be the lines and markings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so the Cambridge Community Board A received the report of Transportation Planner Fort Street. Yes, supports the changes proposed to the Fort Street in the staff report, but highlights the following concerns: reduction in all-day parking, need to continue to investigate alternative parking in the CBD, and making sure all residents are informed, including extending targeted consultation into neighbouring streets, ensuring this includes the area outside Plunkett.
I think it's close, but just to add alternative all-day parking options.
Yeah.
Into neighbouring streets.
Yeah.
At both ends of Fort Street. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Joe, seeing we've been informed this is going to service delivery for decision, pursuant to our normal practice, I'll withdraw from voting on this.
Okay.
Because we're the ultimate decision maker. Probably you too, Philip, I imagine. You get a choice. You can decide here or decide later.
Okay.
Yep, sure. I'll withdraw from any decision on this tonight.
Okay, thank you. Right, are the three of you happy with that? I am. Sue, you happy with that? Yep, okay, all right. I'm happy to move that, the report and that feedback. Can I have someone second? Alana, thank you. All in favour? All of you? Great, thank you, Sue. All in favour? Yep, great, thank you. Thank you very much, Rachel. Right, Joe, are you happy to jump in on the Sister Cities budget? Thanks, Joe.
Good evening. We've got a report here for you this evening on the Sister Cities budget. So each year you get approximately $12,000 allocated to this activity, which you deliver on behalf of council. So this budget must cover not only your annual costs that you have, like that are linked to your membership fees and website fees and Sister Cities membership, but it also has to fund any delegations that come here to Cambridge from Bahoro or Lekanwa. So due to the size of the annual allocation and the cost of these delegations, how the budget is operated in the past is it's about putting aside funds in years that you don't have delegations to make sure that you have enough funds in those years that you do. So what we are proposing in this report is that you allocate 10,000 plus GST for future Bahoro delegation and 10,000 for the Lekanwa one. And there's also some signage that is being proposed in the immediate term, and that's for information on Lekanwa and updating the signage there. Anyone have any questions on that?
Is it possible to see what the sign for Lekanwa say? I couldn't see it.
Yeah. We've got all that.
Well,
I can find it.
Well, I can't find it, and I'd rather like to see it because I commissioned it, and I think I should be able to say yes or no.
We can certainly, once you approve the funds, then something like board member Mackay's been working really closely on the signage and the wording for that board.
Well,
So
I would really like to see that because I think it's very important that we acknowledge that we got funding from the World War I fund for that. It wasn't.
So Alana will be your contact on that. So just working with Alana,
Yeah, so
absolutely.
because
Yep,
I appreciate that.
yep, great. Thank you, Joe. Carry on. No, any questions for Joe on that? No? Okay, great. Right, I'm happy to move that we receive Joe's report. We approve the payment of 2,500 for the signage board and 10,000 to the Sister Cities Fund, from its Sister Cities Fund for the future Bahoro delegation, and approves the allocation of 10,000 from its Sister Cities Fund for the future Lekanwa delegation. I'm happy to move that. Can someone second? Elise, thank you. All in favour? Right. Carried, thank you. Yeah, Lana, if you can get that information to Sue, that would be great. Thank you very much. And Joe, will you stay there for our Treasury report? Thank you.
So really just to take the Treasury report as read, and has anyone got any questions on the report?
No questions, but if we can return that paper plus voucher, I believe, Cambridge, into uncommitted funds, then would be great. I think we talked about it last night.
Yes, yeah. 8696. Okay. Right, so we can, so I just need to move that as is, yeah. So this, that the Cambridge Community Board approves returning to its uncommitted funds $86.96 from resolution number, are those ones? No, 13,369 funds previously allocated for a paper plus voucher. So you're happy to move that?
Yeah, and the treasurer.
Oh, and the whole treasury report? Okay, all right, I can move. Okay, I'll move.
No, it's not. It's not.
No, it's not.
It's
No.
just recommended.
Okay, I'll move that. Yeah, and Alana, you able to second? Yeah, Alana will second. Right, all in favour? Please say aye. Thank you. All right, that's carried. Thank you, Joe. Oh, yes, I thought I did that, but no, I did not. Okay, that we're also receiving Nada's report. Thank you. That can, do we have to do that all separately? Okay, I'll move that again, and Alana will second that. And all in favour? Thank you. Sorry, it's a bit murky. Yes, I thought we had. No. Okay. Right, board members' reports from meetings attended on behalf of the Cambridge Community Board. May I start over here? Mike, do you want to give us a council?
I only got one thing I wanted to tell you, and that was about the local waters done well. That consultation document got approved this morning. It's the consultation period. Right. Okay. We'll run alongside the long-term plan, but the document's been approved today. Does that mean people can see it or not? Yeah. So you see, because it's in our council agenda, so you can see it. So now's your first chance to see it. It's an approved document. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I have seen it. I've seen it. It's part of the workshop we did, and it's a really great document. It's really well designed and easy to read, well set up. So it's a really good one.
I know I keep saying this. It's kind of something that's sort of been flying under the radar, but it's a reasonably big deal. So it's a good thing for particularly the Cambridge Community Board to be over what's happening, what's being proposed here. And happy to answer any questions anytime on it.
Thank you. Philip.
Nothing else much to add, except one other thing where we had the President of Local Government New Zealand come and visit a few weeks ago. And it was just a really brief 1 hour catch up with us all. He's been getting around all the districts all around the country and things like that. So nothing much to report from that. And I would like, probably most of you were at the Moon Spring opening yesterday. Yesterday? No, Monday.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that was great.
Mm.
Yeah, it was really, really good actually. And it's great to see some members of the family there. It was 4, 5, I think. So
Yeah.
really great to see, and then a great community project, another great community project. So yeah, it's good.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sue.
And Social Services Committee this morning. It's pretty hard for some families out there at the moment. And I think some of the schools are noticing it in terms of what parents are actually able to provide for their children, in terms of even just a decent lunch. I don't think it's easy for them, but everyone's trying really hard. And I think we just have to be aware that for many of us, quite comfortable, but we do have a good number of people for whom life is not so comfortable. And we should be very mindful of that and encourage other members of the community to be mindful of that too. I'd hate to see pressure put on people and for them to feel that they're not part of a caring community. And I think it's important that we be seen to be caring.
Yeah, well said, Sue. Thank you. Lana.
Yes, lots going on with the meetings to do with the Lukenwa delegation at the moment, as well as just those regular association meetings. Cambridge Autumn Festival starts next Friday, so all go for that as well. We've had a couple of events sell out, so if you haven't got tickets, get them. And a number of us were able to attend the Cambridge Town Hall Business After 5 event with the Chamber of Commerce this evening, which was great to see what they're up to. And yeah, looking forward to the continuing development of the Town Hall.
Great. Thank you. Elise.
Not much from me other than attending the, I say it probably Te Puna Marama opening, which was
Excellent.
lovely. Very impressive what they've achieved in over a decade. And it's beautiful to be in nature, another little spot to be in Cambridge. And it's been preparing the 6-monthly report with Joe. SPNP.
1st of April.
1st of April.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it from me.
Great. Thank you. So for me, obviously attending that local Waters Done Well consultation document workshop, the Fort Street parking meeting, the opening of the Moon Springs, which was great, and meeting with those ladies from the Public Art Trust. I've been doing a little bit of that with them, and that's been really, really good. And that's pretty much me. That's it. Right. Okay. That's all of us. Andrew's gone, so we can't hear from him, but right. Right. And so move on to the date of our next meeting, which is actually quite soon. It's because of Easter. It will be on Wednesday, the 9th of April. Yes.
I'll be online for that.
Oh, yes.
En route to Likawa.
Okay. Same with you, Alana. Oh, no, will you be here for that? Oh, yes.
Timing should work quite well. Day of time can be.
Okay. Right. I'll just close our meeting with our karakia. Tipo hihiri, tipo rarama, tipo o ti whakaro, tipo o ti tangata, tipo o ti aroha, ko ine napo, I here nei e tātou, Māori ora ki a tātou, haumie, huie, tākie. Thank you, everyone. Good night.